Hello everybody, my name is KingStix and today we're going to be looking at some new big changes coming in patch 8.6. The first one I want to go over is something that seems pretty game breaking. The first thing I want to go over is a champion that looks like it's going to be extremely busted, basically the new Zoe of League of Legends, and that is Ahri. It seems like she's been out of the spotlight for a little bit too long, so League wants to shove her back in with some insane buffs. At first glance it doesn't seem like a buff because she's getting the movement speed removed from her Q and cooldown increased on her W. However, now on her W, the cooldown begins when it's cast instead of after the last Foxfire has hit. Before, whenever she used it, she might just be trying to use it on a champion, and if she's not near any minions, then it won't really go off, and that could hurt her because then the cooldown would be inflated. So now it is a little bit more linear, and when it comes back up, since it starts when she activates it rather than when she finishes using it. Plus, her W is getting a damage increase from 30% AP to 40% AP. Then looking at her E, this is where things really get spicy. The damage is being changed from 60% AP to 40% AP and having 20 less damage in its final rank. However, the new charm effect increases Ahri's ability damage by 20% for 5 whole seconds. It's kind of like having a DFG. For those of you who are new to League of Legends, DFG is a old removed item, Deathfire Grasp, which made you do increased damage over a period of time, and that is what Ahri's new charm effect looks like it's going to be doing. If this does come into the game, it's going to be absolutely insane. Ahri won't have as much utility as she had before, except if she lands her charm on you now, unless you're a mega tank, you are dead. Bottom line, you are dead. The 20% increased damage is going to be coming in on her Q, her W, and her ulti. There's just no way to survive it unless you are a super tank. Ahri's ultimate is getting a slight cooldown nerf by 10 seconds. However, the scaling AP on her ultimate is being increased. And her ultimate is getting a new effect, which allows Spirit Rush each cast to reduce the remaining cooldown of Ahri's other abilities by 1.5 seconds. That means she can use a full spell cycle on you, use her ultimate 3 times, and have her spells back up. That's absolutely crazy, especially when you take into the fact that her charm, if landed, makes you take 20% more damage for 5 whole seconds. Ahri now scales much better into the late game. She has slightly less utility since they removed the movement speed off of her Q, so you can argue in her first 5 levels that she's weaker than she used to be. However, in the mid and late game, she's going to be an absolute monster. The next thing I want to mention that's absolutely crazy is the massive Lee Sin damage buff they're giving him. Lee Sin got hit really hard by the removal of Tracker's Knife since that was his main jungle item. To compensate for that, it seems like they want to just pump him full of pure damage on his ultimate, so the damage at level 3 is being increased from 450 to 650. This is a pretty big deal. That means he has 200 more pure damage in the late game to use on you, and at level 2 it's going from 300 to 400. This is going to suck for any squishy jungler Lee Sin is playing against because he has that much pure raw damage to use against you. So if he does get on you, or if you run into a bush where he already is, he can use his combo, Q, ulti you, and then Q again, and you'll be dead for sure. This is definitely going to be a hit to junglers like Twitch or Evelynn. Rengar's been a bit of a letdown thus far, so they're trying to give him some more buffs. I didn't understand why Rengar's wanted the revert, because now his Q is single target rather than AoE, so he can't really clear camps unless he has a team at. Anyways, they are adding some base AD damage onto Rengar, and they are adding 10% AD scaling to Rengar's E, along with some AD scaling on his ultimate from 30 to 50%. That's a total of 30% increased damage across Rengar's kit in this upcoming buff. Shaco is also getting a pretty big change. It is primarily on his Q. However, this will make him play a lot more similar before when they changed his Q on the Assassin rework towards the beginning of Season 7. Now we are in Season 8 if you are wondering. Anyways, Shaco's Q will now give him 3 seconds of invisibility at all ranks. In the early and mid game, Shaco's going to be a lot harder to deal with. He can gank you right after doing something like red buff or being level 3. Previously, since Shaco's Q only lasted for 1.5 seconds at level 1, it was really difficult for him to gank you with his Q because he didn't have much time. But now with 3 flat seconds of pure invisibility, his ganks are going to be pretty nasty in the first couple of levels. Very similar to a Twitch gank. Shaco's E's slow potency is also getting upped quite a bit, going from 10% at level 1 to 20%. Definitely expect Shaco to be a staple pick or pick and ban in solo queue, because with these buffs, his early game is going to be insane. Gunzu's Rage Blade is a dynamic item that many champions want to build because they have on-hit stuff like Kel and Kog'Maw and the new AD carry Kai'Sa. I'm not quite sure why, but they want to make this a cheaper item even though it's really OP. So now it's only 3,300 gold. It does give a little bit less stats, but now that it is easier to build, people only really buy it for its unique passive, which gives you double on hit effects every other auto attack. Definitely expect to see more on hit champions coming up in the next patch. Also, bone plating is getting a sizable nerf. It was a little bit too strong, so they're lowering the duration from 5 seconds to 3 seconds. Another nerf to tanks, especially in a patch where a lot of assassins and damage dealers are getting buffed. It seems a little frivolous. Those are the only things that are really worth mentioning. The biggest thing to keep on your mind is the Ahri buffs and Shaco buffs coming up. Definitely expect to see loads of Ahri and Shaco in the next patch. And that is going to wrap up this video. If you guys enjoyed and want to support the channel, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help out a lot. My name is KingStix. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Yeah.